Hey everyone, if you're on the hunt for a personal mobility scooter that actually sticks around the house and the local grocery store without constantly draining your wallet, you probably feel a little stuck. You want something that feels solid, can survive a few bumps, and won't leave you stranded after a couple of blocks. At the same time, you're wary of those feature-heavy models that sound great on paper but end up being a hassle to store or a disappointment when the battery finally runs low. The good news is there's a middle ground, and that's where the Challenger Mobility BUZZAROUND EX Extreme 3-wheel heavy-duty long-range travel scooter, model GB118, comes into play. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about who this scooter is really built for. If you're someone who needs a higher weight capacity up to 350 pounds and you don't want to sacrifice range, the BUZZAROUND EX is worth a look. It's designed for everyday errands, a quick trip to the pharmacy, a longer stroll in the park, or even a weekend outing to a nearby mall. The 3-wheel layout gives a stable ride, which is great if you have a bit of a wobble when you first hop on. On the flip side, if you're after a fold-up that you can toss into the trunk of a compact car and disappear into a small closet, you might find the BUZZAROUND a bit too bulky. It's full-size, meaning it's easier to get in and out of a chair, but that also means it takes up more storage room than the ultra-compact models. What sets this scooter apart from the crowd isn't just the headline numbers, it's how those numbers translate to real life. The 2U1 batteries are removable without any cords, which is a subtle but huge convenience. Imagine you're at a coffee shop and the battery is getting low. You can simply pop the battery out, head to the nearest outlet, and keep the scooter charging while you sip your latte. Those batteries are also a safety net if you ever need a spare. Just keep one fully charged at home. The range claim of up to 18 miles per charge is realistic for most users, provided you keep to moderate speeds and avoid steep hills. In my testing, a typical suburban circuit about 10 miles of mixed pavement and a few gentle inclines still left roughly 3040% charge when I got back, which gives you a comfortable buffer for an unexpected detour. Now, let's break down the practical strengths. The biggest win is the weight capacity. Most budget scooters cap out around 250,300 pounds, and that can be a deal-breaker for taller folks or anyone carrying a small bag or shopping trolley. With 350 pounds, the BUZZAROUND EX lets you bring a tote, a medical bag, or even a light stroller without stressing the frame. The two LED lights, bright headlight and tail light, are standard, not an add-on. That means you're visible in low-light conditions, and you won't have to purchase separate lighting accessories later. The shroud panels in red and blue give a bit of personality, and because they're removable, you can clean them easily if you ever get splashed or dusty. Turning to the hidden trade-offs, the first thing most people notice is the scooter's size. While the larger deck makes it easier to sit comfortably and offers a stable base, it also means maneuvering through narrow aisles can be a little tighter than you'd like. If you frequent grocery stores with tight rows or live in an apartment with a narrow hallway, you might need to practice a bit before you feel confident. The weight of the unit itself is also higher than some of the featherlight models on the market. That translates into a bit more effort when it comes to lifting it into a vehicle. However, the design includes a built-in handle that makes loading and unloading from a van or SUV more manageable, and most users find it a reasonable compromise given the higher load capacity. Another practical consideration is battery life over time. The U1 cells are solid, but like any lithium-ion pack, they will lose capacity after a few hundred charge cycles. For a user who rides daily, you might notice the 18-mile range shrink to around 15 miles after 2 years. That's not a failure, it's normal wear, and you can always replace the batteries. The good news is the battery removal system makes swapping out a dead set for a fresh one quick and tool-free, which prolongs the scooter's usable lifespan without a major service bill. Who should skip this model? If you're an absolute minimalist who only needs a short hop around the house and you prioritize a tiny footprint above all else, there are lighter, fold-up scooters that will sit comfortably in a closet. Also, if you're looking for a high-speed, sport-style ride, the BUZZAROUND EX isn't built for performance thrills, it's more about steady, reliable travel. Lastly, people who live in hilly regions should be aware that steep grades will drain the batteries faster, so the advertised 18-mile range